Happy Saturday afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Marketing Corner. My name is Sean Campbell, and each and every week we're here to give you little lessons, little secret sauce, golden nuggets all around marketing and entrepreneurship. And we got two powerhouses here today. This is probably going to be the most marketing heavy show we've had so far, as we got co-host Danny McPadden from Last Bridge Media. How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Danny
Thanks.
and I have known each other for about 3.5, 4 years now. I
Yep.
first met at my 5-year anniversary.
Yep.
And you were doing some work for Mr. Hotman.
Yeah, the artist.
Yeah. And I know I'm going to get some flack from other very, very good local media and video production companies. There's nobody better than Danny. I'm sorry, but Danny is just, if you want to see some of his latest projects, it's Vera Earl Ranch or Vera Earl Beef.
Yeah, Vera Earl Ranch.
Yeah.
They have ranch right outside of Tucson, and they're, one of the best beef companies in Arizona.
It's a hidden gem. It's a hidden gem in the middle of southern Arizona. Go to their Facebook page and you'll see some of Danny's work. I think some of the videos were posted maybe last week, the week before.
Yep.
The videos are phenomenal. And, since I've known you, Danny, and you've grown so much. I thought you were, unbelievable when I met you. That your videos just keep her like, wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if you can't look at your videos from 3 or 4 years ago and be disgusted by them, then maybe you're not
way
growing.
better than what I could do.
No,
but
I know.
Especially your Vera Earl ones, they're tremendous.
Yeah, well, they're the real deal. I mean, they're cowboys. It's something like you would see in a Wild West movie.
I hope they fed you afterwards, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That was one of the funnest shoots I've ever done.
You could tell that was a tremendous. All the clips that I've seen, just phenomenal work. Hats off to you, man. Just
thanks.
Unreal. So we'll get more into some of your do's and don'ts when it comes to video production, storytelling here pretty soon. Our special guest, Mo Russo.
Hey, Sean.
How you doing, Mo?
I'm excellent, thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Thank you, man.
I've watched your first 3 shows, and your first 3 guests.
So you're the guy who's watched all 3.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one who gives you little heart emojis on each one.
Yeah.
No, your first 3 guests have just been incredible, so I'm honored to be here.
No, the honor is ours, Mo. You are a tremendous resource. So I feel like you need to invoice me every time we hang out. Because I leave like, whoa.
I can make that
mind
happen.
blown. Yeah, you can. I hope you don't. That's why I take care of lunch as much as I try to anyway, right? But it's to have the two of you here, I was looking forward to this since we've set this up because I have no idea what direction we're going to go. All I know is that our listenership today is going to get you better be taking notes today. You better be taking notes, right? Because if you're not, then watch this later on YouTube at the Marketing Corner, hosted by Sean Campbell, or listen on Spotify, right? So if you have any questions for Danny or Mo, it's 520-790-2040. That's 520-790-2040. If you want your business to grow, if you're thinking about starting a business, if you're a solopreneur, Mo and I had a lunch yesterday for a couple hours just talking about solopreneurship, just blown away by that. We're just kind of spitballing and just, like two, like musicians or artists how would get together and just the ideas that we're just kind of throwing out there.
Yeah.
So it was tremendous.
I was so charged up after our lunch yesterday.
Yeah, I know. And we had nothing really planned. We kind of got together. Then all of a sudden we're like, I'm taking notes.
I think that's where the best ideas come from.
Right.
Just sitting down casually with somebody.
Yeah. Mo, why are you here? Tell the audience why why you're here.
You mean, why am I on this planet, or why am I in
why
this
are you on this show? Because I know why you're here, but brag about yourself a little bit.
Oh gosh. All right. So
I
got to start at the beginning if you want me to talk about
we
myself.
only got an hour, Mo.
All right. Well, I'll give you the condensed version. So I'm not a native Tucsonan, but I was brought here by my parents at 3 months of age.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my hometown, right?
Yeah.
My parents are immigrants from Greece. I was born in Greece. My dad was a survivor of the Holocaust in Greece, so he went through all the Nazi internment camps and all that stuff. Had tremendous wounds on his legs from being machine gunned and blah, 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 blah. So my dad was, and when we landed here, he had like $200. So my dad was always driven to try to create, comfortable life for his family. And part of that was his plan to make sure that I went to college, because no one else in the family ever went to the university, right? So he always got me the crappiest jobs imaginable. In fact, one of the jobs I had was around here somewhere, and just doing like really dirty manual labor kind of stuff, because he wanted to make sure that I hated that life so much that I would go to school. So I went to the University of Arizona, got my degree in mechanical engineering, then got an MBA, then had started my career as an engineer working for a power company up in Colorado. Came back to Tucson, did some sales, worked as like the number 3 employee in a local technology consultancy here in town. We did process control systems and stuff like that, and grew that into 13 offices across the West.
Wow.
And had a tremendous career there. Then I decided to get into the internet. This is in the late 90s. My timing just sucked. So because, as you know, the internet bubble just kind of popped.
Right.
But while I was there, I was one of the strategy architects. And so what a strategy architect is the lead strategist in a specific geographic area for that company at the time. And what we did is we worked with our customers to really understand, what their pain points were, what their needs were, and so forth. So that's when I really started getting into really needing to understand your customer. So fast forward a little bit, I was brought on board as a business coach because in between all that, I had actually started and sold 5 other businesses. So I had a very good education in the school of hard knocks on what it takes to run a business.
Right.
And so I decided to become a business coach. I got certified in the 3 top methodologies available out in the world. And I have clients from coast to coast here. But it's for me, it's not as satisfying working with the bigger companies as it is to really focus on an extremely underserved community, which are solopreneurs and small businesses under $5 million in annual revenue, which is the glass ceiling that most businesses, like 80% of small businesses, do not break through that ceiling. So my passion now, my goal is to help the solopreneurs scale to the point where they want to scale, and to help those small business owners break that $5 million ceiling.
Yeah, what I love about your story is that you worked for everything you have. You know, there's no corners cut. In our age bracket, so to speak, we have lived that era before the internet and through the internet and through now, through the rise of AI. We've seen it all. We've been through, how to do it without it, and we take some of those principles and we apply it to the tools today.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you and I had a really big discussion yesterday on AI and how you're utilizing it. We'll get into that in a little bit after the break here. And Danny, after the break also, I want you to have 3 things to do for your videos and 3 of the most common mistakes. You got to limit it to 3 each, otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, after the break, after you get back into that.
Yeah.
So have that in the back of your mind. If you have questions for either Mo or Danny, it's 520-790-2040. Again, that's 520-790-2040. Thanks for listening. You are listening to the Marketing Corner. We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Marketing Corner. Danny McPadden, give us 3 things that, 3 of the most common mistakes that you see when people are putting together a video. Because we don't need to get in discussion how important video is for your content today, right? It's absolutely necessary. It should be a part of any marketing strategy, period, right? There's no debate about that.
Right.
But when you're watching videos, when you're watching maybe a video that's supposed to kind of tell a story or a video is supposed to, represent a brand or just straight up promote a business, what are maybe the 3 things that you've seen that are the most common errors?
Sure. So I think that a lot of videos will just kind of look at whatever is the trendy style and just rip it right off, right? And okay, I get it. That's like the common thing. People understand it, but unless you were like the first one to do that kind of style, it's just gonna fall by the wayside. It's gonna be a lot harder for it to get noticed.
With everything else,
so I always tell people, like, do the planning up front to be as creative as possible, because novelty is huge. If you are the first one to do something that's original, that's 90% of the battle. You don't have to have the best camera.
Right.
You don't have to film in 4K or the best, try to like film like you're Steven Spielberg.
Right.
But if you just have something that is original, people are going to notice it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have a lot higher likelihood of going viral than something else. So that's number 1. I think number 2 is length of videos. And I've said this before talking to you, but people always go way longer than they should.
Right.
And brevity is key.
Right.
So you definitely want to like plan for the right video, the right length. And I've said this to you before, but like the law of diminishing returns. If you go, when a video should be 30 seconds, but you take 3 minutes on it, like it's going to make people really irritated. And after a certain point, you're hurting yourself more than you're helping yourself, because you've probably paid for the extra production value to have that longer video when you actually don't need it. And there's just a lot more energy and time that goes into making that longer video when it's just not necessary.
Right.
You can say the same thing in 30 seconds versus 3 minutes.
3 minutes,
so that really is huge. I mean, it's like telling a joke, right? Like,
right.
The people that are, when you hear a comedian tell a joke, they do it. It's like poetry as far as timing and length. Get in, boom, they get out.
Right.
And that makes it funnier.
Right.
Whereas somebody who's not as experienced, they tried it and they botch it up, or they take forever to explain it, and then the punchline is not as effective.
Right.
And it's the same thing with videos.
Right.
And then the third thing is, I think audio is hugely important. And I think people underestimate having good audio.
Yeah.
But audio is one of the most primal forms of storytelling. And maybe that's because long before TV and radio, or long before TV existed, you had radio, and then before that, people were sitting around campfires just sharing stories. So I think that people are much less forgiving of poor audio than they are of poor video.
Yeah.
And of course, you should strive for both,
Right.
good video quality
Right.
and good audio. But I think that you definitely need to give that more attention than people realize.
That's good stuff.
Good music,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
good sounding,
Yeah.
like dialogue.
Yeah.
There's just tons of websites out there where you can get just really phenomenal music. And there's new AI features now that can really enhance audio, and sometimes it's just a matter of like clicking on a button, and it can really improve the quality of the audio.
That's a good segue into my questions for Mo. You and I had some interesting discussion yesterday on AI. And,
Absolutely.
You due to an unfortunate incident, you kind of hurt your back a few weeks ago, about a month ago.
No, 4 months ago.
4 months ago.
I've been laid up a while.
But it's on the silver lining aspect of it. You've kind of taken a deep dive into AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my break, literally, I had 2 fractured vertebrae. Um, so, so I had those 4 months to really do take that deep dive into AI, to look at all the capabilities it has to offer, and to realize that most of us miss the capabilities of the AI because we don't know how to tap into it.
Right.
So yeah, so I've been spending a lot of time with my best friend called ChatGPT right now, and
That's my best friend.
and ChatGPT is just amazing. So I have spent literally a couple of months in training ChatGPT in my writing style. So I'll give it articles that I've written,
Right.
in my tone, my voice, you know, all the things that go into making an article read like I wrote it.
Right.
I've trained it in all the methodologies in which I'm certified in. And I've given it like 30 to 40 books that I think are really important for business owners. Yeah, and it crunched through all of that. And so now I have this, I guess this ChatGPT bot I call Leadership
You
Lab.
got a cloned AI Mo is what you got.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to create. And so, because you know, the real key as a solopreneur or small business owner is just to automate as much stuff as you possibly can,
Yeah.
so you can focus
Yeah.
on the important things, which
Yeah.
is like, you know, really understanding your customers, and you can only do that if you get face to face with them, right?
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
Yeah, so I've been doing that, and then so now I have Leadership Lab up and running. I have a newsletter. It's growing organically. We're writing some really great articles. I use ChatGPT to do market analysis for me to figure out what all the pain points are, and then we craft articles and books around those pain points.
Right. Right.
And then I've created videos too as well.
Yeah.
And I was telling you before we started yesterday, I had so much fun cloning my voice into AI, so I don't have to read anything anymore.
Right,
AI,
right.
and it's uncannily, it sounds like me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I did a good job. But yeah, it's just such an interesting time,
Yeah.
because I remember like when I went to university here, I started my mechanical engineering program. I had a slide rule. There were no calculators. There were no nothing. Right.
Right.
So the journey that I have lived through from the moon landing, you know, the Apollo program, all the
Yeah.
way to today, and all the various technologies that have emerged from that. Oh my God, it's mind-boggling.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, like Star Trek communicators. Well,
Yeah.
that's our iPhone or my
Right.
iWatch or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, all that content can be found on LinkedIn. Go to Mo Russo, MoRousso, connect with Mo, and you can see all this content. You mentioned your laboratory, your learning laboratory,
Leadership Lab.
leadership laboratory,
Yeah.
and it is just phenomenal. I was wondering, how is Mo putting out all this content? And we kind of shared the secret sauce yesterday, and I read through a lot of it, and I had no indication it was AI generated.
Yeah, because
You
I
know.
took the time.
No, yeah.
It learned
Yeah.
your writing style.
Yeah.
Your just.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
The
most
things-
more times than not, you know, I'll admit all my articles on LinkedIn are generated by ChatGPT, right?
Yeah.
And I've honed it in, not to the extent Mo has honed his voice in on that, but you know, there's a few little things I go through and I kind of scrub and make it more me, so to speak.
Yeah.
But Mo's content, I could not tell. I didn't realize it was that much generated by AI.
Yeah. I think that's. And there's usually a lot of dead giveaway. If you just take something, copy and
Right,
paste from ChatGPT,
right.
It's very obvious
Yeah.
usually, because it likes to use the same words over and over again.
Right.
Beacon of hope and
When
whatever.
it first started, you know, I was dabbling in it on a client of mine that I won't mention. She's unbelievable. You know, I was creating some content for her on LinkedIn and Facebook, and she gives, you know, she never calls me. She's like, since when did you become an expert in my field, Sean? I was like, oh, you know, I've been studying a little. And she's like, no, you're using ChatGPT, aren't you? And I'm like, well, maybe. She's
Yeah.
like, and she was like, keep it up. It's good. You know, she gave me a few little pointers and words
Yeah.
to avoid and whatnot, but she was all for it. All for it.
Yeah. And
Mo, I'm curious, when it learned your voice, you said
Sure.
you were doing voiceovers, voice dialogue.
Oh yeah.
When I imagine it probably took an hour or so to kind of feed it your style of delivery, of how you talk.
You mean when I trained it to do the voiceovers using my actual voice?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it only took like 10, 15 minutes. as long as you have the tools already in place.
Yeah, and so when it finally did give you like a reading back after you took the time to set it up, did you have to kind of tweak it from there? Like, oh no, that's actually not how I talk.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I was just blown away.
Wow.
Absolutely blown away when it read back. So the first thing I'm doing now is I've created a very short, under a minute video to do book summaries, and I'm doing the first book summary of my book that just got published a few days ago, and so I'm having it use my voice as the voiceover on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Plug the book real quick. What's the name of the book and where can it be found?
Oh my God. It's on everything I have is on Amazon. I actually have 3 books on there right now, and I've got 2 other books in the works right now. So just bear with me. I can't remember all the titles because I'm getting old.
It's all right. When we got about a minute before we head on break, as Mo looks into those titles, if you have any questions about your video production and video marketing, or this topic about AI, I know if you're listening out there, I mean, there's no such thing as a bad question, right? I think a lot of people are maybe intimidated by the use of AI, or maybe they think it's not as, that you're cheating, so to speak. So we'll get into that discussion after the break here, because there are some legitimate concerns, right, about the use of AI. But in my opinion, and I think the 3 of us may agree on this, if you're not utilizing AI to make yourself more productive and more efficient and put out that content and put your voice above all the other noise out there, then you're going to be left way behind. Not just kind of behind, not just middle of the pack, but the people that are utilizing AI now to create their content are rising to the top. So, but we'll get into your books after the break, Mo, and Danny will hopefully we get a few callers, 520-790-2040. You are listening to the Marketing Corner. We're back in the Marketing Corner, and we have a gentleman on the phone on the line with us. I think it's a guy named David. Is that right? Is there a David on the line? Hello, can I hear you?
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How you doing, Mr. Bradley?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. This is an awesome segment, an awesome show today.
It is, yeah.
Mo and Danny, I saw at the hot seat when you guys are doing that. I was very impressed with what you were talking about. And Mo, I'm going to get your contact information to discuss more in the future. And real quick, a comment with Danny, on the content, right? Planning, being creative, being original, right? That was spot on, Question to Mo, as far as with your business coaching and so forth. I mean, I know every industry will probably be different, but there's got to be a commonality of some sort. Like, what strategies would you recommend or help implement for a solopreneur or business owner to scale their business, right? I mean, I know it'll be tailored to the industry, but is there some commonalities like across the board?
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for plugging my book. Because that's what my first book is all about, is what are those common things, regardless of what vertical market you might serve or whatever type of business you are. These are all the types of things you need to know how to do in order to scale, or at least to reach a level of income that would make you feel comfortable with your life and help you achieve your goals. So but probably the place to start, and if you were at the hot seat where you heard me talk before, the number one thing everyone needs to do who's a business owner is really know your customer, right? And by knowing your customer is you engage in conversation. Some of them can be automated, but the most information-rich conversations are held face-to-face. And what you're trying to do is really understand their pain points. As they're growing, as they're scaling, as they're bringing their product or service to market, what obstacles are they hitting? And so you're going to have clients then that really have certain issues that maybe you're able to best provide a solution for, and then that's where you pivot to.
Yes.
Thanks for your question, David.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I forgot to preface the call, like first-time caller, long-time listener. Sean, love you, brother.
I saw you on the first one. You can't fool me.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. We'll be in touch. Danny, you as well.
Thanks.
Love it. Keep doing what you're doing, guys.
Thank you so much, David.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, you and David have an appointment that's going to be coming up, Danny. So I've already.
Yeah.
That's the person I referred a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's
Absolutely.
unreal. I've known David for 20 plus years, and he's a go-getter, dude. He's always continuously learning. He wants to, push himself and just the guy. He seems like he's always every week. He's always in another class to learn something new
Yeah.
in his field, and it's just unreal. He's been in his field for 19 years.
Right.
But he's always continuously learning about what's coming up and what's on the horizon. Just unreal.
Learning never stops.
He's a monster. He really is.
Yeah. And he's a Medicare broker.
Yeah.
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 So I wonder if he's met Kim yet. Kim's my fiance, for those of you who don't know.
No, yeah. You got to plug your fiance on the show.
And her business is in providing primary care for folks on Medicare. So
Oh wow.
I need to hook those two up if
Yeah.
they haven't met yet.
Excellent. Yeah. Danny, getting into real quick, you mentioned the hot seat a couple times, Mo. The hot seat is an event where we have a couple of panelists in an open forum type of discussion at the Stands Club every second Tuesday of the month. If you have any questions about that, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to Spotify or whatnot, put them in the comments and I'll give you more information on that. But every second Tuesday at the Stands Club from 4 to 5. Then from 5 to 7, we have a networking event as well. So that's what the hot seat, that's what Mo was referring to. As we kind of were in break, Danny, you wanted to talk about some of the misconceptions about video production?
Right. I think that a lot of customers, they think that the video process is one thing, or video production is one thing. But it's not really reality.
Right.
So I just kind of want to dispel some misconceptions out there that a lot of people have with video in general. And, the first thing is that you need expensive equipment. Like if you have a company and you want to do videos in-house,
right,
you do not need expensive equipment. There are so many other variables that are more important. Like storytelling, like coming up with those creative novel ideas like I discussed earlier.
Storytelling is probably the number one thing you should strive for.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned earlier, as a human race, it's in our DNA.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to connect with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, don't get me wrong, you have to have like a good camera. You have to have a decent camera and microphone, but you don't have to have the best.
Right.
Like, usually the cheapest piece of gear and the most expensive piece of gear are usually like the two worst deals.
Yeah, and I've kind of fallen into that trap myself because I've purchased some more expensive stuff, for my own podcast and whatnot. The thing is, it takes me so long to learn how to utilize it.
Yeah.
Where I could have just maybe used my phone or a GoPro or something a lot more simple. You know what I mean?
I mean, the key is just get something that's good enough.
Right.
And then like you can have a $20,000 video camera, but if you don't have good lighting,
right,
or even lights, period, then it's not gonna. You're not gonna get the most out of that $20,000 camera.
Right.
It just becomes kind of a paperweight.
I have a home podcast studio, if you will, and for my audio and video equipment, I must have spent like $500-600 is all.
Yeah.
And it's really good stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean you can really go far with just equipment that's good enough as long as you kind of factor in those other things, storytelling, having lighting, appropriate lighting, things like that.
Yeah, and getting back to the discussion about AI, I think a lot of the barriers that people have in their minds about utilizing AI is that, and maybe admit it or not, but they're a little intimidated by utilizing AI.
Yeah.
Do the two of you kind of feel that way?
Well, I do. Well, I can. Let me just talk about like Sora, like video production software, like Sora, and there's a few other ones that can actually generate like video clips.
Yeah.
It is still really hard, and a lot of that software is still being tested. It's not even
Right.
available for the public to use.
Right.
But just to get something to look normal is so hard to do, even with just still images. If you're
Yeah.
touching up a photo, replacing a different background or
Right.
whatever, like it
Right.
still takes a lot of finessing. So I definitely get like that kind of that stress that people feel
Right.
with AI software.
Right. Right. And yourself, Mo?
Well, I'm an engineer, so there's no problem we can't solve, right? So,
Right. Yeah.
So I've dived into the AI world with both feet. I've learned, how to craft the right prompts so I can have actually meaningful, productive conversations with
Right.
the AI tool. And I use AI tools for not just ChatGPT, but for video production, for like Canva Pro
Yep.
for design work.
Yep.
I do my own design work. I use AI-based content schedulers that schedule all my content through all my social media platforms. So once I get that set up, I don't have to touch it again.
Yep.
I created all the content that goes in there. It's really important to have a mix of video and text.
Yep.
And I think Steve Nunez on your first show said that videos get 300 times the impressions
Yeah.
that text does.
Yeah.
So having video is really, really important.
Yeah. One thing I want to dispel is like the utilization of AI is not going to directly lead to a higher ROI on anything you do. I use AI for more content, to be more efficient, more automation. But at the end of the day, the person that's closing any of my deals is me. Right. So there is that balance between becoming or staying up to date on what's available out there, but also staying up to date on your personal skills. That's one thing that I think the three of us will always going to have above our competition or alongside our good competition is the ability to speak face to face.
Absolutely. That's why networking is so important.
And to listen.
Yeah.
And the ability to connect with people on a personal basis. So I don't want anybody listening out there thinking that, we automate everything, we use AI, and then we, rake in the millions.
Yeah,
that's not the way it works.
Lay on the beach. No.
Yeah.
No.
No.
AI is an iterative process.
Yep.
Because, garbage in equals garbage out. That's that old computer standby. And it's true with AI today as well. So you have to be there. And you're basically quarterbacking whatever the content is or whatever it is you're trying to produce. Because if you just leave it up to AI, it's going to miss. It's going to something's going to happen. And if you just post it as is, it's not going to be the kind of message you want to put out there under your brand.
Right. Right. How much? You kind of surprised me a little bit, Daniel. How much AI tools that you use? I mean, how much is it a part of your process? We got about a minute before we get into the break.
Yeah. I mean, it is very involved as far as
Really?
AI. Everything
Wow.
from transcription of a video and being able to do text-based editing, like literally like you're editing a Word document. It's all synced up with video footage, and you can edit.
Yeah.
You can just type in a certain word, and then you'll find that sentence, and then you can just cut that sentence right out.
Yeah.
It'll all kind of reflect
Wow.
with the footage.
Yeah.
Is that Descript?
Descript does that. Adobe Premiere does
Yeah,
that, and some
okay.
of the other ones do that.
Yeah.
And then also like the audio piece is a big part of it too. Just being able to enhance someone's voice or cut out background noise.
Yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
big, powerful tool
Yeah.
with AI.
What I love about this, I could feel the enthusiasm that you guys have of learning. You know what I mean? So, which is a part of a solopreneur's, entrepreneur's journey continuously. So, if you have any questions,
Absolutely.
520-790-2040. We'll be back after this break. Last segment of the Marketing Corner. If you have any questions for Danny or Mo, 520-790-2040. As we get into the last segment, I always want to thank John, our engineer, for helping us out during every show. The Marketing Corner sponsors, including David Bradley from Medicare A to Z, Candace Eaton from C. Eaton Photography, Jamar Jordan, a tax specialist, Roger LaFay from LaFay Processing, of course, Danny McPadden, our co-host today. For the first year or so, I thought it was McFadden,
yeah.
until you corrected me.
Everybody does.
And then Mark Weiss from Sales Performance Strategies. And next week, we're going to have a very marketing heavy, again, like this, we're going to follow up episode with a guest. Still kind of haven't nailed them down yet. So, but it's going to be a tremendous guest nonetheless. So you got to plug your books in, Mo, before I get into this last question.
Yeah, just let me tell people about my books. That'd be great. So I mentioned something earlier about the solopreneur and small business market. So if you look at that market, there's about 33.7 million different millions of businesses.
Yeah.
And out of that 33.7, 27 plus million are solopreneurs.
Wow.
So if you look at the size of the market and also realize that it's a very underserved market, like, for example, as a top tier business coach, I command annual fees for my clients of over $100,000 a year, right? A solopreneur, or a small business for that matter, cannot afford me to do that, right? So what I'm trying to do through the creation of these books and through the creation of my solopreneur, I guess, coaching direction I want to head in is I really want to serve that market, right? Because that speaks to me. You know, I've walked in their shoes, and I really want to help them. And it's also a huge market that if I'm successful in it, then we'll all be successful together.
Yeah.
So these books that I've created are part of a series to help those solopreneurs on their journey, utilizing the best of the methodologies that I teach my high-paying business clients, right? So the first book is called, and it's the one that just launched, and it's unsurprisingly called Launch, a quick start guide for solopreneurs to scale their business. So that speaks directly to the caller's question. And this weekend only, it's 99 cents on Amazon. 99 cents, because I want to get copies of this book out. And on Monday morning, it's going back up to $9.99. All right. So it's on Amazon. Just look it up. Look it up by my name. It's MO space ROUSSO, and it'll show you all three of my books. But I'm probably going to take one of them down because it was my first try at it, and I don't like the book anymore, so I'm going to take it down. And the other book I have is all about getting to know your customer. It's called Unlocking Customer Desires: 3 Tools for Solopreneurs and Small Business Owners.
Nice.
And what it does is it really talks about how do you get to know your customers better, understand their needs, and it talks about how you can employ things like empathy mapping, customer journey mapping, and feedback loops.
Awesome.
So those are the 3 major tools.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I hope you guys have an opportunity to go there and download these books. They're not that expensive anyway, and they'll give you a lot of great content.
Absolutely. Last question for the two of you as we head into this last segment, and I know we got about 8 minutes left, but this is a good one. What's your guys, and you're going to start, Danny.
Yay.
You're on the hot seat right here.
Okay.
What's your superpower, dude?
Okay.
When you take that shirt off and you've got that big S on your chest,
Yeah.
what's your superpower?
Yeah. Okay. I've always been interested in drawing, even painting to some degree.
Wow.
So kind of like that artistic, skill set has always been a priority for me. I mean, even when ever since, I was like 5 or 6 years old, just drawing pictures, and I'd be sitting there in class, like thinking up a funny scene I draw and show it to my friends and get them to laugh. Right.
Yeah.
So I have kind of always tried to improve upon that skill set.
Right.
And so when I'm filming something, making a video, Man, I am not gonna stop until I feel like I have the right framing, the right
Right.
composition,
Right.
The
Right.
right colors
Yeah.
in the frame.
Yeah.
Lighting is good,
Yeah.
and so, it's not just about understanding like the technical side of it and the business side of it. It's really comes down to like the artistic value, and that's something that I think is
Yeah.
my superpower.
Well, one other thing I want to brag on about you a little bit here is I've been on a handful of your sets. I've seen you in action. You are unbelievable with your clients, because a lot of
Yeah.
us do not like being on camera, don't
Yeah.
like the way we look, but you are spectacular at easing your clients into
Yeah.
producing the video that needs to be produced for them. You're very, very good at that.
Oh, right,
And
right.
it's weird watching you work because you keep everything in your head,
Right.
and you just kind of go, well, okay, and that was kind of good, but if you could do it a little more, you don't tell the
Yeah.
client that really sucked.
Yeah, or a lot of times I'll stitch things
Yeah.
together. Like I'll be like, hey, let's go back in time and
And it's
can you
crazy
s-
how you do that, because you do something like 20 minutes ago that you put together,
Yeah.
then you go
Yeah.
back and you're like, okay, this first scene, let's go redo that.
Oh, right.
How you
So
got everything in your head.
try to
Yeah.
get them to say certain
Right.
sound bites that maybe you can place at the very beginning of
Right.
the video. And so I think sometimes that throws people off, right? They
Do you
think
have
very
like the
sequentially.
whole video in your head and you're just kind of replaying it, what you put together? Because it's phenomenal
Yeah.
watching you work. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I
Well,
do.
you don't take any notes, you don't write anything down, but you're able to kind of put together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I do. I try to have a certain storyboard in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of have the whole video scripting and shot
Mhm.
list laid out.
Right.
And that saves a lot of time
Mhm.
and kind of keeps everything focused.
Right.
So
Right.
if I feel like, at the end of the shoot,
Mm.
I'm like, oh wait, we don't even have like an establishing shot or like an establishing
Mhm.
sound bite
Mhm.
as to why this
Right.
company or this thing or product is important,
Yeah.
or what it even is.
Right.
Then like the whole thing doesn't work.
Yeah. I don't want to give it away, but your hook, your lead into the Vera Earl video
Yeah.
was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Go
Oh, yeah.
on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was posted a few weeks ago. There was like a 2.5 minute long video, 3 minute long video.
Yeah.
That beginning was captivating.
Yeah.
It's spectacular. I don't want to give it away. I want people to go see it.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah.
that. Yeah. Hooks
Yeah,
are
yeah.
hooks are so important.
Yeah.
Just to get people interested. You don't have to say everything, but
Right.
just enough to get them interested.
Exactly.
And that's
Yeah.
it.
What's yours, Mo? What's your superpower?
So I'm going to preface it by saying I really, really enjoy learning new things all the time.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
like inhaling knowledge from a fire hose, and then converting it
Mm-hmm.
into applicable solutions to solve client problems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't think that's my superpower. I just think that's something I like to do. But I
Mhm.
think my real superpower is empathy,
Mm.
because
Wow.
when
Wow.
when I'm sitting down with someone face to face, I can feel their pain. I can bring it out. I'm talking business pain. I don't want to be a psychologist. God,
Yeah.
that's too much drama for me. But
Yeah.
but really understand what their business pains are. Really understand their market.
Mhm.
Really understand from this vast toolkit that I've created over the years what I can bring to help solve that pain for them.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Another question for each one of you. In this year, what's been your biggest win?
Biggest win.
Besides being on the show, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can top that.
I don't know. Being on the show, what's your second biggest win of the year?
Yeah. I think I think just taking a more active approach to really bring in new
Mhm.
software and tools
Yeah. Yeah.
into my workflow
Yeah.
has been a huge game changer. So, yeah, I guess maybe that's not considered a big
No,
win,
I mean,
but
yeah.
and then I think also just really landing like some huge clients
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
in the Tucson community
Yeah.
has been a big win. And that, of course, word of mouth is everything.
Yeah.
So that has kind of expanded,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
other big clients.
I wouldn't doubt if much of the audience has seen one of your promotional videos from one of your clients without knowing it was yours,
Yeah.
because you've worked with a lot of spectacular local businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What about yours, Mo? Your biggest win this year?
Getting my back fixed. But yeah, because I feel great finally. It's been
Good.
a long time. But
Yeah.
I would say the downtime because of the back,
Yeah.
to learn all these new AI tools at a level that
Mhm.
I wouldn't have been able to do if I was still working full time, right?
Mhm.
Has been huge for me. I've not felt this excited about how I can build my business and help
Yeah.
solopreneurs and small business owners at price points they can afford.
Yeah.
I am so freaking I didn't cuss.
You didn't cuss.
Now-
Yeah.
Jazzed up about that. I can't tell
Mhm.
you. So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to what the rest of this year has in store, including my marriage to my favorite.
That's here
Woman,
pretty soon.
it's
Is that later
coming-
today or
No, it's next month though.
next month? It's
Yeah.
coming close. Yeah.
Have I invited you to the wedding?
Yes, you have.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. Are you going to
Yeah.
come?
Yeah, of course.
You better come.
Yeah.
Because Kim will hurt you if you don't.
I know. I ain't worried about you, Mo. I'm worried about Kim. Yeah. This has been a phenomenal episode. I mean, each one of these episodes have had their own unique flavor. And I just want to, in this last minute, thank the two of you for being on here. Any last words of advice in this last minute of the show?
If you want to contact me, ask me questions
Mhm.
about anything I've been doing with AI and all that, I'm happy to answer.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about, if you have a specific issue, you just want to bounce off me, happy to do that. I won't charge you for any of that. And you can reach me at mo.russo, ROUSSO, @gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. What's the best way to contact you, Danny?
Best way is to just go to my website, lastbridgemedia.com, and just hit the contact us button. And then, yep.
Yeah,
that's-
and a lot of your videos are on there in what's that tab? It's called
Yeah, so you can see everything in the portfolio tab.
portfolio
you can
tab,
see the
yeah.
documentaries,
Yeah.
the advertisements,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Might be a few of my videos in there too.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you everybody for joining the Marketing Corner. Hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will see you here the same time next week.